day today?
It's pretty good. The weather is pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It was warm, but it's getting chilly now.
Yeah. So how are you doing so far?
I'm okay. Kind of depressed, and I'm not sure. Just feel like I need to talk to somebody.
Yeah. How about I just knew a fortune teller, Madam May. She's really good. She's awesome.
Is she local?
Mm-hmm. She's pretty good, and she can tell you she can tell you anything you want to know, and she knows a further way about yourself, about your life. It's amazing. You should try.
Maybe I'll have to.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe give her a call, set up an appointment.
Yeah, she's in a good hall, and you can find her.
In Good Hall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll have to give her a call. Hello, is this Madam May?
Yes, this is Madam May.
Are you the fortune teller here in town?
Yeah, I am. I'm located at Good Hall at Juniata College.
Okay, I was wondering if I could come make a visit with you. Maybe tomorrow around noon.
Sure, stop on by. I'll be there.
Alright, sounds good. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Penny! Guess what?
What?
I made an appointment with Madam May tomorrow.
Well, it's good for you.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I hope she can solve my problems.
Well, of course she can. Yeah. Before you can
Oh, thanks. I'm taking your word for it.
Okay, it's great.
Okay, I'll
Trust
see you.
me.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay.
Have a good day.
You too.
Come in. So you've come to have your fortune told. Tell me your name.
My name is Kay Sage.
Okay. Hold out your hand. Let me read it. You've traveled far in your life. You've seen many things. You've created many things. Am I right?
You're right.
Your parents were divorced, weren't they?
They were. As a young child, I moved to Europe as a little girl and saw many places like Rome and Paris with my mother.
I see. That's interesting. You're an artist, aren't you?
Ah, yes. I'm a surrealist. I became interested in the surrealist movement when I was living in Paris.
I knew it as soon as you walked in that you were a surrealist. Anyways, you come from a well-to-do family. You've been educated.
Yes, I have. I've trained in many places, in Paris and here in America.
And you have no children, do you?
No.
Kay Sage uses an architectural style in her oil-on-canvas landscape I Saw Three Cities. Sage repeats straight lines and right angles throughout with the exception of one figure. Audiences observe a tall, flowing figure that guides the viewer's eyes through the piece that gives it a dreamlike quality. The figure enveloped with drape-like coverings is often a trademark that has been attributed to Sage. It has been suggested these figures allude to something that was familiar but unidentifiable to Kay, further signifying the subconscious theme that is surrealist in nature and an aspect of absence and loneliness. The drapery points to the far left into a void. However, two bold lines or possible steps in the pavement in the lower right corner of the piece capture the viewer's attention, guiding the eye upward. On the left side, there are a few figures, but the painting is unbalanced as the right side of the painting carries more weight. If Sage is referring to a specific memory from her past, the heaviness on the right side may suggest importance. Since much of the painting is composed of linear and geometric shapes, the fluidity and movement bursts from the rest of the piece, conceivably symbolizing struggle. Sadness and emptiness is represented by the use of a gray color scheme and the lack of any primary or bright colors. Shadows are effective also in reinforcing the mood, giving off an ominous, forlorn feeling. The light, or sunset, illuminates the right side of the painting, probably indicating the passing of time. In Yves Tanguy's landscape, Fear, the viewer is drawn to the lower half of the painting where color is darker and the most different from the rest of the painting. Sage draws her viewer in with line and texture, whereas Tanguy commands attention with color. In comparison, however, both Sage and Tanguy effectively guide their viewers to focal points. Sage directs viewers to the billowy figure with bold lines from the bottom of the painting. Tanguy does so by surrounding his focal point with negative space. Tanguy achieves a mesmerizing feeling by repeating similar, rough, imperfect shapes. This is in contrast with Sage's piece, where precise geometric shapes depict her landscape. Audiences of both works get a sense that the sun is setting. Perhaps the sun is setting on Tanguy's past, similar to the Sage piece. A sense of loneliness and emptiness can be felt in both paintings. Sage expresses this emotion through the contrast of movement in her drape-covered figure in an otherwise stagnant environment. A singular rectangular figure sits in the center, distinctly separated from a chaotic amalgamation of indiscriminate and abstract shapes on either side of Tanguy's piece. In addition, the forlorn mood is reinforced in each piece in the way Sage and Tanguy have created both of their horizons. Each horizon is similar in that their use of chiaroscuro creates a similar depth of field. Tanguy's harsh details in the foreground and background, however, cause his horizon to be less distinct than Sage's. Sage and Tanguy both present a dreamlike landscape, in keeping with Surrealist theme, by their use of abstract and non-representational forms. The manner in which they present their landscapes is much different, but the emotions that they evoke are much the same. But I see two men in your life.
Right. I was married twice. Presently, I am married to...
Another painter.
Right! Yves Tanguy!
You met in Europe, didn't you?
Yes, we met in Europe. I was actually inspired by his work in Surrealism. However, his work often overpowered mine, but that is what motivated me to continue my work. And yes, after that, we moved here to Connecticut.
Well, I think you've told me enough so far, and that's all the time I have today, so give me a couple days and come back, and I'll see what more I can tell you.
Okay, sounds good. I'll see you on Wednesday.
All right.
Kay Sage painted Margin of Silence in 1942, whose focus is the human-like figure sitting on a mound of pointed rocks. The figure has dark blue hanging drapery, painted with visible thick lines, which makes the figure appear depressed and sad. Sage leaves a hole through the middle of the figure, close to where the heart is in the body. Leaving a hole through the heart opens the question, is this referring to how Sage feels in her own life? Having the figure portrayed with an empty heart might infer heartache, loss, or even death. The artist depicts the setting as alone, lonely, and static, a moment frozen in time, with little life. This painting emerges as gloomy and depressing because of the colors in the sky, which are dark black, brown, tan, and white. Sage may be using the figure as herself, conveying her feelings of loneliness, depression, and sadness. Finally, the texture Sage used in her painting reflects draftsman-like style, like a detailed drawing for a building or a ship using brushstroke lines and shapes. Margin of Silence has been discussed by many critics over the years. Her paintings often consisted of muted colors and straight architectural lines. The figures in her works are covered in drape-like coverings that suggest familiar but unidentifiable shapes. Many of the draperies create an illusion, as though there is a person wrapped in the garment. The colors in Margin of Silence are soft, suggesting an aspect of absence and loneliness. Author Renee Reese Hubert said of Sage's work, her geometric structures, her architectural universe deprived of human signs, her smooth and uniformly colored surfaces characterize so many surrealist paintings. Sage's Margin of Silence leaves a lot of open interpretation, but so does Max Ernst's Alice in 1941. Alice in 1941 is a painting that is also depicted in the nature-like Margin of Silence. The focal point is the woman sitting inside a cave-like space, which also looks like a chair painted to fit the woman's body. The image of the woman is erotic compared to Sage's depiction of the figure in her painting. Ernest's piece is more naturalistic, and she is also naked. Browns and tans are the colors used in this painting, which are appropriate for a setting in the midst of nowhere, where time seems motionless and still. Looking closely at Ernest's work, I see a lion perched on top of the cave-like chair and a lion head shown in the tan color under the cave-like space. I think the lions are in this painting because they are there to protect the woman in the cave and from any harmful creatures in nature. Alice in 1941 was thought to be influenced by Lewis Carroll, who told the first iteration of what became Alice in Wonderland. This idea came from the thought that Alice is pictured in a fantastical landscape that is portrayed as an eroticized and partly developed Alice. Ernest paints Alice as a grown-up, more woman than child. The cave-like space the woman is sitting in is also thought to maybe be Ernest himself, wrapping his red feathered gown around the woman.
Oh, I see. You've come back.
I have.
Sit. I have more to tell you. So before you even knew Yves Tanguy, his artwork inspired you.
Yeah, yes it did.
I'm having another vision. I'm seeing a barn.
Yeah, our studio is in a barn on our property.
Since moving here, you've received a lot of acclaim and praise for your work.
I have.
Catherine Sage was an American surrealist artist and poet. She was born in 1893 to a wealthy and a conservative family in Albany. Later, Sage married her artist husband Yves Tanguy in Paris, who deeply influenced her life and career. Salvador Dali was a Spanish surrealist artist who was born in 1904 in Figueres. In 1916, he attended classes at Municipal Drawing School, which marked the beginning of his exploration in the world of drawing. Because of his imaginative and bizarre artwork, he gradually developed a reputation across Europe. From another approach shows several pieces of simplified geometric forms, which looks like a weird composition for viewers. It rhythmically and repetitively moves our eyes from the bottom to the peak. This illogic composition depicts Sage's loneliness, emptiness, and the weakness within her inner world, which extends beyond time and space to express the infinity. As a surrealist, she combined dreams and realms of the unconsciously to create an alternative world. The light source appears to come from the left, which creates a dramatic boundary in the shadows, providing a three-dimensional effect. The limited yellowish-brown color gradually gets lighter from bottom to top. However, the white egg and the bright yellow drapery grabs the viewer's eye and symbolize hope and love. Foggy background painted with brownish and yellowish colors creates a cold and empty space without horizon, thereby expressing Sage's isolation and alienation as well as her desire for care and love. From another approach shares similarities with Dali's artwork, fried eggs on a plate without the plate, such as the cubist building on one side and emptiness on the other. Dali's work was inspired by his intrauterine memory, a flashback to his mother's womb. His content is more about his imagination and his relationship with others rather than isolation and alienation, and things are more focused on happiness. Artwork is earlier than Sage's, and it is undisputed that at some point Sage was influenced by Dali. Both of these paintings are based on geometric structures and emphasize the emptiness of space and time. As a surrealist, Dali and Sage were both influenced by Freud's unconscious theory, hence dream and imagination inspired them to combine objects with real forms and abstract setting. Realist elements appear in both of their artworks, such as loneliness, emptiness, endlessness, birth, death, and the past and the future. Both of these artists produced perfectly clean counterlines, making it difficult to see the brush strokes.
Of course, you know that, but you've come here for something else. You're distressed. There's something upsetting you. Your husband's no longer with you, is he? He's been gone quite some time.
Yes, he has. He's been passed for 6 years now.
You've become reclusive. You struggle without your partner a lot, don't you?
Yes, I'm in terrible depression.
My dear, my dear. Oh my. What I see is no good. I cannot help you with it. Oh no.